Open the special panel and play.
Post Honeycomb Big Time Baseball!
Win big-time prizes.
You may win
1 of 10 Panasonic 40-inch big screen TVs with remote control VCRs.
or
1 of 500 Panasonic FM stereo headphone radios.
Big Time Baseball is a hit and everybody scores. Just swing open the special panel for lots of free fun and games. Look for this special box this summer. Post. Welcome, dear listener, to our podcast. Jeff and Rick present Unpacking the Power of Power Pack,
where we journey through each issue of the most underrated Marvel series of the 80s while drinking beer.
analyzing awesome and amazing adolescent adventures, and absorbing alcohol.
I'm Jeff.
And I am Rick.
Random banter! We'll talk about what we like. Random banter time, buddy. How you been? What's been going on with you?
It's because Bohemian Rhapsody is in theaters right now, isn't it?
No, that's been sticking in my head for a little while now.
No, I'm blaming it on Freddie Mercury in the theaters.
You can blame Freddie, but honestly, I've had it in my head for about a month.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Oh, by the time this comes out, will be around the time that me and it's looking like about 12 other people right now are going to be in downtown Portland wearing Santa Claus costumes.
SantaCon.
For SantaCon.
SantaCon.
A giant pub crawl where we are dressed in Santa Claus outfits and we are drinking.
You get your drink on.
Last year we hit 13 stops. Once again, I will be in charge of all of these people.
Well, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
What about you?
Well, since we're having so much fun, let's put a damper on that, because I'm going to be Mr. Raincloud this random banter.
Sad news.
Yes.
Sad news, Jeff.
Sad news, Jeff. Everything's bad. Yeah, we had to put our sick cat Bowie down on Friday, because, cancer just got too much. He wasn't eating, and he started having seizures, so it was like, well, sadly, his time had come. So that kind of sucked for Friday. And then on Sunday night, we're having a rainstorm here, and we're up, and we're talking. The baby's just falling asleep, and Hillary's about to go to bed, and we're just chatting and stuff, and I'm going to stay up for a while. I'm like, we both stop, and we go, do you hear a dripping noise? So 1:30 in the morning, and I'm climbing around in the attic trying to find this drip, and I figure out where it's at. And it's like, we have a really old roof. We had it installed a year and a half ago, so obviously it's way old, so it's ready to fall apart. But we found a vent that was leaking, so we had to get up on the roof in the middle of the night and throw tarps on it and tape it up and do all sorts of stuff. And then we were up with that until about 4 in the morning, where we go, okay, now let's go to bed. At which point the baby is like, I guess I can stop crying and screaming because it's morning. Let's play. And I was like, well, I'm up with her until about 5:30 in the morning. So it's like,
so the rain cloud thing, that was kind of a metaphor.
Yeah, it's figurative and literal.
Nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Speaking of literary corner. We're not there yet.
No.
We gotta do some other stuff first.
We have a lot more to get through.
Yes, we do.
And how we start this normally is by you giving me a 2-sentence replay of the last issue.
Interesting. I recall it differently, but I'll play along with you, Mr. Rick Heineken. I'll play along. After a constant and unwanted barrage of family badgering, Julie, the un-ne'er-do-well and accused math cheater of the family, decides to run away from home to Asgard and join whatever the equivalent of a circus is there, only to be ambushed by the Boogeyman. That's right, it is again the untriumphant return of nobody's favorite weaponizing kidnapper, Carmody, who, after taking another dunk in the literal and figurative cold water of failure, finds himself in hot water with the Warriors 3. Now that the why go to the trouble of running away when a kidnapper will come to you 2-sentence replay is over, Rick, why don't you give me a beer and tell us what our Power Pack pick is?
My pleasure, my friend.
I bet you had something good this time.
Yes, but before I give it to you, I would like you to tell me the name of this issue.
The Kid Who Fell to Earth.
One more time.
The Kid Who Fell to Earth.
In the vein of that, I would like to offer you...
What do we got? Space Goat Pale Ale! This is awesome. Big Sky Brewing Company, Missoula, Montana. And the story time is that you shouldn't drink it if you're pregnant or operate heavy machinery. This is fantastic. The cover on this is unbelievable. It is a anthropomorphic goat with sunglasses on in a spacesuit in space hovering over Earth. This might be the best one that we've ever had. This is fantastic looking. This is absolutely glorious.
Yes, I've got 4 little bottles here for us to enjoy. It's a pale ale. I hope you like them.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, this thing is a 5.0% ABV, IBU of 40, so it should be a little bit bitter. Pale ale, of course, and it says... Crystal and Galaxy hops are combined to produce a thirst-quenching beer with citrus undertones. Yeah, I've been holding on this one for a little while.
You're a clever, clever man, my friend.
I saw this a long time ago and I bought it and I said, I don't know which issue this is going to be tied to, but this will be tied to an issue.
It's going to something. I was thinking, I'm like, it's going to be a goat-based thing, isn't it? It's going to be a ghost. A ghost. Of course, a kid who fell to Earth was a ghost.
Ah, so you saw that goat coming then?
Yeah, so I didn't see it coming, but I had a guess that it was there. Oh, that is really clear.
That's a pale ale.
Yeah, nice bubbles. Got a little bit of an IPA nose to it. It smells good. It's got kind of a little citrusy smelling, but not bad.
No.
And then the old tasters.
It's got the pale ale haziness, bubbles floating up, and it is a very smooth pale ale.
That is a very smooth pale ale. That's got that introductory kind of like, here comes the tang, and then it stops.
Yeah, then stops and goes away.
Yeah,
that 40 IBU is very smooth. No, this is tasty.
This is pretty clever.
Normally, I would say this would be a very good summer beer.
Yeah.
Very light. There's no real strength to it at all. No real kick. It's just clean, crisp, enjoyable. Just enough little bit of tang to tell you, hey, I'm a beer. But yeah.
Wow, this is a pleasant IPA.
Well, it's not an IPA. It's just a pale ale. Just a straight pale ale.
Okay, then. This is a pleasant PA. Which is a professor's assistant? Is that what it is?
That's one way of putting it.
Protesting associate? What does PA stand for?
And if you want to see this fabulous depiction of a space goat, we will, of course, have a picture of it on our website for you to check out, along with all the other pictures we are going to talk about from this fine comic that Jeff is going to give us the opening credits for right about now.
Power Pack, issue number 16, November 1985. The Kid Who Fell to Earth. Credits. Writer, Louise Simonson. Art, June Brigman and Bob Wycheck. Colorist, Glennis Oliver. Letterer, Joe Rosen. Editor, Carl Potts. Editor-in-Chief, Jim Shooter.
Featuring Power Pack, Alex Power, a.k.a. G, Gravity Master, Julie Power, a.k.a. Lightspeed, Flying Master, Jack Power, a.k.a. Mass Master, Density Master, Katie Power, a.k.a. The Energizer, Energy Master, guest starring Franklin Richards, son of Sue and Reed Richards, Dream Master, Jarvis, butler to the Avengers, Butler Master, and worst babysitter in the world.
It sounds quite scary, Master Franklin, but really, it was only a dream.
No, Jarvis, you don't understand. It was a special dream. And the monsters, and the horseboy, and the yelling, and the guns, most of it happened. But some of it's gonna happen still.
And with that intro dialogue complete, apostrophes and all, we find ourselves on an alien landscape with a couple of snarks.
Squirrel.
Think giant green-skinned hybrid lizard grasshopper aliens.
Chasing down a young chameleon.
Squirrel.
Think white-skinned bipedal horse alien.
Apparently, this chameleon sorcerer's brat teleported into the Snark's Queen Mother Marood's council chamber.
Squircow.
And that type of shenanigans is frowned upon in this establishment.
It's not like the young alien pony meant to do this. He was surprised as well. He was just being a sneaky nosy busybody, but thanks to being a little overreaching with his teleporting, he has learned some double secret probation level information.
Shracked.
I don't often say this, but you are correct. The foolish foal found a few felonious facts. The Queen Mother has sent her son Jackal to Earth to purloin the Power Pack's powers.
Shrackow.
Gadzooks! Guess the guards got genuine guidance to gun down the galloping gumshoe goat guy's getaway. But why is he calling the Power Pack his human cousins as he runs away?
Squircow.
We'll ferret it out soon. For now, the lizards are outfoxed by the rabbiting horse-looking kid.
Wow, that is a menagerie of a sentence.
Agreed. Would it help to know that the chameleon is known as Kofi?
I love coffee.
Me too. It's what I need to start my day. But I'm not talking about coffee. I'm talking about Kofi, which might sound like coffee, but is actually pronounced Kofi. Get it?
Got it?
Good.
Kofi teleports directly into his father's smart ship, a diplomatic vessel. This is important because it means that it is not locked in place and able to immediately launch off the planet.
So it has diplomatic immunity.
Yes, and Kofi is a lethal weapon.
Skura, Shrek.
And the snark shooting at them is their way of saying that that diplomatic immunity has just been revoked.
Once in space, we find out a whole lot of information. Kofi and the smart ship Data are headed to Earth. Kofi is the great-nephew of Byral, the chameleon who Power Pack adopted as their honorary grandfather, and whose son gave them their powers and his life. This is why he keeps referring to the Earthlings as his cousins.
By power, not by blood. Got it.
Power is thicker than family.
You can really mangle a quote sometimes. We also learn that Kofi and his father, who has not been named yet, do not get along. Instead of sending a message as the smart ship wants him to do, the young rebel has commanded the smart ship to fly as fast as possible to Earth so he can help the helpless hatchlings.
Good plan, and I'm sure nothing negative will happen.
Oh, you spoke too soon, because as soon as they swing around our planet's moon, a snark ship sneaks up behind the fleeing four-locked fledgling, and with a...
Shrek boom.
The smart ship is hit and starts to plummet to Earth. That was Jackal, and he has critically damaged Data.
Oh no, I hate it when my data is damaged. I hope they backed it up.
That was bad. Speaking of galactic struggles, we now turn to a butler trying to put pants on a 4.5-year-old who is reenacting the space fight we just described with a TIE fighter and an X-Wing.
Hey, that is what I would use if I was a kid in the mid-80s and I had those toys. And Franklin does look like Anakin. Yippee! Original Star Wars toys and an original Star Wars poster on the wall? Yippee indeed. Yippee indeed.
According to the young child, the smart ship crashed somewhere around the outer markers. I mean the Statue of Liberty. The final act of the dying sentient ship was to fake the damage to look worse and allow Kofi to get away.
Jarvis is just nodding his head and smiling, like any adult listening to a kid while doing another task, such as struggling to get a kid dressed and mentally typing up a new resume to get out of this madhouse.
Saved by the tea kettle, Jarvis retreats from the room, begging the child to get dressed by himself. Franklin decries that he is not a baby, in a whining voice, but he doesn't want to go to the park because the monster is there.
Really selling that line about not being a baby, Frankie.
Jarvis is under direct orders from Franklin's absent authoritative adults to make sure this precocious tyke play with other kids.
Something the Richards never do while they are in town.
So to the park to play Franklin shall go. Before he leaves the room to attend to his tea, Jarvis at least attempts to soothe Franklin's worries by saying that the monster was just a dream, and that his parents would never leave him in any danger.
Jarvis, you've met his parents, right?
Well, Franklin has, and his response to a closed door that is both metaphorical and literal is...
But they do all the time.
We know, Franklin. We know.
So Franklin starts to have an argument with himself, showing early signs of the years of therapy he will need after growing up with absent parents, alternate timelines, resurrected relatives, and the constant threats of supervillains.
He knows he needs to find the hurt alien and help it escape from the snark, but he's afraid. He finally decides to be a brave little toaster, just like his Uncle Benji, aka the Thing.
And not a hothead like his Uncle Johnny, aka the Human Torch.
And not invisible to his needs like his mother, aka the Invisible Woman.
And not stretching out of the way of responsibility like his father, aka Mr. Fantastic.
So he puts on his special Fantastic Four sweatshirt under his coat. It is special because it has the Fantastic Four design with a half next to the 4. Get it? It's because he's the 4.5 member, and he's 4.5. Get it? Huh? Huh?
Yeah, I got it. And Franklin gets that he is supposed to keep his identity secret, so he puts on a hoodie as well.
And with that, they go to the park.
Meanwhile in Central Park,
Home of the Fighting Pigeons.
are we still doing this?
I'm not tired of it yet, so... yes.
The secret super siblings are skating under a sunny sky. The older 3 power packers are pretty good and are showing how their powers work to make them better yet, with Jack being a bit of a pest to a struggling Katie, because of course he is.
Alex does a low-gravity flip over the others, Julie flies over to catch Katie as she falls, and Jack clouds out of, and then back into, his skates, which is kinda a cool trick.
Cool trick or not, it earns him a yelling from Julie for using his powers out in the open. His response is that the reason that he is doing this is to hide the fact that Alex and Julie are using their powers out in the open.
Huh. Jack is the voice of reason and restraint? Did we pick up a what-if issue by mistake?
Actually, no, but I think this is kind of a cool power training exercise. Also, the kids are all in their costumes but are wearing sweatshirts and jackets over them. It's actually kind of a good idea.
Speaking of costumes, they're lamenting that they can't call up Friday to check out a meteor they saw the other night because the communicators still do not work after Julie washed them way back in issue number 11.
Katie falls again, but this time her special chameleon coin drops out of her pocket.
Ching-a-ching.
Katie, your chameleon coin. You shouldn't be carrying it around like this. What if you lose it?
I won't. It's mine. Give it back. The Tooth Fairy gave me it when we were out in space. It means I'm the most special one. Even if I can't use my powers to skate like you can. So there.
Somebody took their cranky vitamins this morning.
Yep. And that somebody doesn't understand why the Tooth Fairy gives you money. Meanwhile, at the playground...
Home of the fighting monkey bars.
Would you just... Okay, now I have an image of bars full of monkeys fighting. Give me a moment.
That would have been home of the fighting bar monkeys. But while you take a moment, we will take in the scene and find Franklin sitting at the top of a slide, with a line of kids impatiently waiting for their turn and Jarvis on a bench passing recipes.
And his digits, roar,
to a mother holding a child. Oh, and the Power Children skating up to a hot dog vendor.
It's them, those power kids. My dreams were real.
Dreams? Are you kidding? Move it or pow! I'll give you power.
That may be the lamest playground threat I have ever heard.
Franklin watches the Powers get their hot dogs and begin to skate off. Katie, in a fantastic panel, lets out a...
Yikes!
And falls on her keister as the other three, in perfect unison, skate forward, eating their hot dogs in peace. As the siblings circle back to help their sister, Jack must comment...
Wounded, fallen, defeated, the skates won.
Franklin, who has finally relinquished his stranglehold superstation of sitting atop the slide, observes how much the ketchup that Katie is covered in matches the blood on the horse kid's head from his premonition. He decides to describe the details of his determining dream to these siblings, and then he will run back to Jarvis and go home where it is safe.
Franklin, for what will probably not be the last time, your parents are the Fantastic Four, and you are staying at the Avengers Mansion. Safety is something you will never, ever have.
I guess you could say it's kind of relative.
Moving on. Franklin runs over and interrupts even more sniping between Jack and Katie by calling Alex's name. Moving past introductions, the tiny talented tot totally transcribes the terrible tale of the non-Terrans trek and the totaling of the transportation.
Terrific. He warns them that a monster is coming to hurt them, and reveals to these strangers that he has special dream powers. Jack is impressed, especially since Franklin is obviously younger than Katie, meaning that she is not the youngest and littlest superhero anymore.
Katie's not buying this, and she retorts,
Well, I don't believe it. He's not a real superhero. He's just a dumb baby.
I am not, and I know more about superheroes than you do, so there.
check and mate, Katie.
But she is not done yet. If this baby is so smart, where is the chameleon?
And with that, they run off, leaving an oblivious Jarvis, who is still trying to score a date with his recipe for Hercules' high-calorie fried chicken.
Yum. Hey, it's like the song says, recipes make the world go round and the digits drop.
Franklin quickly and accurately directs them to the injured Kofi.
Does he bring sugar with that?
And cream.
Katie, still not impressed, and becoming more of a brat by the second, tells Franklin not to wet his diapers.
Wow, she is turning into a not-as-fun Jack.
Kofi introduces himself to his cousins, explaining that he was cousin to Alefire Whitemane. Since Whitey died and gave his powers to the Powers, he is kind of their kin.
Adopted horses on one side, crazy homeless mutant kidnappers on the other. The Power family reunion is just going to be awkward this year.
As the kids help Kofi to his feet so they can start sneaking him home, Katie is dismissing Franklin as rudely as she can, saying that he is a baby, and pointing out that dream powers won't do them any good.
Tracked.
Well, she didn't have to shoot him.
No, that amazingly poor shot that passed right in front of Julie, Kofi, and Alex came from the giant flip and snark that just crashed this little rescue party.
Wait, this is Jackal, a high snark, supposedly the best of the best. How could he miss 3 kids at once with a surprise shot?
He rolled a 1 on his attack and he has 0 levels in Rogue.
Next time, spend karma for advantage, dude. The Sand Sneaky Snark keeps his stunner set to Stormtrooper and continues to fire wildly as Julie picks up Katie, who is quickly disintegrating a rock to power up. Alex degrabs Franklin and dives clear. Kofi teleports and Jack clouds.
Kofi also warns the quintet of kids that this ain't your average lizard head. This is the High Snark Jackal, who has studied the powers and has prepared special weapons for them.
Like lasers that miss?
More like a vacuum bomb, he ignites under a cloudy Jack, which then starts to suck him in. Jack solidifies and Julie grabs him just as the snark shoots one of those neurofiber pellets. Julie takes the hit and the bandages wrap around her face, causing her to be blind and start falling asleep as she flies around trees with Jack on her shoulder.
She crashes into the ground as Katie fires a shot at Jackal.
Tracked.
Katie takes a moment to brag about her powers to Franklin. Alex tells her to knock it off and free Julie, to which Katie responds,
That's what I'm doing, dumb brain.
But in reality, it looks like she is just disintegrating a rock. Let's just call that an art kerfuffle and move on.
The kids regroup and fly out of there, leaving Jackal angrily clutching Jack's skates.
Jackal is pretty impressed with the Power's power mastery, but he is just finding his inevitable victory that much sweeter due to the challenge.
The Super Sextet fly around for a while, not thinking that they should return Franklin to the park they had just kidnapped him from.
Nope, they sure don't. They actually go and hide beneath a water tower where Franklin and Kofi bond over the fact that their parents worry more about their work than them anyways.
They see Jackal's ship and a beam of light coming out of it. Kofi lets them know that this is a tracker beam, keyed to identify and catch them. He also tells them Jackal's ship has a radar cloaking device and is loaded up with more weapons than an entire James Bond franchise, and it is better to avoid him.
That's dumb. I'll power up and knock it out of the sky.
As she reaches to disintegrate the leg of the water tower they are sitting under, Kofi stops her saying,
Are you mad? You do not know the being you're dealing with.
Geez, Katie, Kofi is right. What is your deal? Chill out. Also, as an aside, don't disintegrate the support struts of the big heavy thing that you're hiding under. It will not end well.
Finally, the ship flies off and the kids make it back to their house. In the meantime, Kofi fills them in on how he managed to escape and find Power Pack using a tracking beacon inside the chameleon coin that Katie has. He is embarrassed that he had to be rescued when he wanted to be the rescuer, but he thanks them all, especially Franklin, who he has no family ties to.
Franklin admits that he was scared and almost didn't tell them.
Chicken, we beat a ship full of them.
I thought that too, before I faced Jackal.
They shove Franklin and Kofi into the boys' closet, a la E.T., to hide them from their parents.
As kidnappers normally do.
They're not kidnappers. They just took a child they don't know away from the negligent supervision at a park, put him in a dangerous situation, then took him to an unspecified location for an unspecified amount of time, and then hid him away so the authority figures wouldn't find him. How exactly is that like kidnapping?
That is literally the definition of kidnapping.
Hey, you say tomato.
I say kidnapping.
A while later, Franklin has fallen asleep, but is having a special dream. Kofi wakes him up, and Franklin says that Jackal is coming after them, and that Jarvis is worried.
Ha, you think?
But Franklin doesn't want to contact Jarvis because the Fantastic Four and Avengers are gone.
And the kidnappers probably won't let him use the phone.
And he doesn't want more people to get in trouble with his dream power.
Kofi asks who the Fantastic Four are, and Franklin begins to tell him.
He unzips his coat and shows his sweater when the closet door opens, and Alex shines a light right on the 4.5 symbol.
Holy cow! You're Franklin Richards! Your parents are in the Fantastic Four? Wow! I can't believe it!
What's so great about that?
We cannot stress enough how much attitude Katie is showing in this issue.
As the two captives, guests, are treated to some smuggled food, they discuss why the Fantastic Four are cool, but why Franklin's parents are not, and about how they can get in touch with Friday using the wreckage of Kofi's smart ship at the Statue of Liberty. Franklin does not like this idea because he had a dream.
Chomp.
Katie interrupts him by reenacting a scene from Jaws, coming over his shoulder, and eating half the cupcake.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Rude.
I wasn't gonna tell it at all, but now I will. I dreamed Jackal caught us there, and it was all Katie's fault.
And he's giving her the evilest eyes.
Dun dun dun. The Super Six are soon soaring through the sky, circling the Statue of Liberty. Between Kofi and Franklin, they are able to narrow the location. Alex gives Franklin some advice. Katie is being a monster. If she hits you, hit her back.
I hate Frank. Ever since he showed up, everybody's mad at me, and he had that mean dream too. I'm gonna make him take it back.
Frank's smaller than you are, and he's been acting like a big boy while you've been a beastly spoiled brat.
As the kids look out over the water and talk about their next move, this wonderful scene happens.
Katie, sitting next to Franklin, pinches his bottom.
Pinch.
Franklin swings his legs, kicks Katie's foot.
Kick.
Katie raises her fist, but is stopped by Julie.
Julie pulls Katie aside and, again, tells her to knock it off. They put on goggles and fly over the water. Katie powers up and the two young ladies dive into the water to look for the sunken craft.
On shore, we get some interesting information. The Snark Emperor is dying, and the Queen Mother Maraud, whom the pack has fought before, wants to use the kids in the upcoming battle for the throne. Each Snark Queen hatches a high Snark, who is smarter and deadlier than the rest. When the battle ends, the winning Queen's high Snark becomes Emperor.
This is known as the Snark Wars, and the fighting always spills over into other galaxies, with innocent lives being lost in this battle of succession. Luckily, Snarks are a long-lived species, so the Emperors don't die too often.
You know, if more award shows work this way, I'd probably watch them.
Me too. Franklin's dream mapping is right on the money, and the girls find the downed craft in a jiffy. When they surface, Katie fires off a powerball to trigger the next part of their salvage mission. Alex and Kofi fly out, dive down, enter the derelict ship, remove the communications equipment, and all of them head back to shore.
Pretty solid teamwork and a successful mission, really. Kofi ensures the recovered radio is working and starts broadcasting the encoded message out to Friday. They move up to sit on top of Lady Liberty's crown, because if you can fly, and it is night in New York, where else you gonna wait for an alien craft?
And guess what?
What?
Katie and Franklin are arguing.
Ya don't say.
I do say, but they finally stop when Katie sees a light. She's sure that light is Friday.
Alex tells her that she does not know that, but Katie's insistent and starts to yell and wave her arms.
Franklin, remembering the scene from his dreams, puts his hand over her mouth and tells her that this isn't Friday and to shut up.
So,
Crunch.
she bites his fingers.
Sigh.
Wait, it gets worse.
Oh no.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Franklin gets in a good I told you so as Jackal ship swings around and catches the kids in a tractor beam, sucking them up into the ship.
See, Katie, it was your fault.
No, yours. You dreamed that dream and made me mad.
Maybe we should just let Jackal have you both.
Next issue, Snark Hunt.
Dun dun dun! So, hey, guess what time it is? It's Power Pack packaging time!
I like that.
Thank you.
That's actually great. That's a good little way of introing that. I like the little sing-song of it, but that's cool.
Power Pack packaging time is where we talk about the cover of the book, because we here at Jeff and Rick Presents like to do things backwards. So, on this cover, we have something that is kind of brand new. In the entire run of the comic, we have never seen kind of this watercolor-esque pastel chalk drawing type of cover before.
Yeah, it draws the eye because it is immensely different from everything we've seen before.
It's more of a, I want to say realistic, and I say realistic, recognizing that on the front we have kind of a giant moon in the far background in the upper two-thirds of the book, this moon. In front of the moon is kind of a faded in Snark with his mouth open, giant, and he's holding a gun, and the gun's, you know, getting some real good
Glints.
Some what is the J.J. Abrams
Lens flare.
yeah, he's getting some real good lens flare off the
I was going to say sparkle, but lens flare is much more accurate.
lens flare.
Yeah.
And then in front of him we have Kofi being kind of lifted up by Alex, who's degraved, and Alex is holding on to Franklin's hand as Franklin's kind of flying through the air wearing his 4.5 sweater. But it's got kind of a realistic tone to it. It's very, very cool. And this
it's a great cover.
Yeah, and this is by June Brigman. This is a June Brigman original here. I really like it. This is one of these that this is representative, a very good representation.
Oh, it is a great representation of the issue.
Yeah, of what's going on in this issue. It of course, the scene doesn't really happen like this, but it's just all representative, and it's got this kind of Buck Rogers kind of quality to it. So I love this cover.
Good. It is great. Yeah, I love this cover too.
This is a highly rated cover for me. So very representative cover. So good job. And once again, kind of repeating a theme from the last issue we talked about. This one does not have all of Power Pack on it. In fact, it only has one member of the current Power Pack, and that would be Mr. Alex.
Yep.
But, you know, it's got Kofi and Franklin, who, spoiler, they're going to be hanging around a little while.
Yep, they're going to be replacing a couple of lackluster Power kids. The parents are going to be really surprised when they kind of go, didn't we have 2 daughters and not 3 sons and a space horse?
Yeah, this is the unknown part of Marvel Universe history where they kind of pulled a Jason Todd a la voting pool with, people calling in kind of saying which Power kid shouldn't make it. No. They never did that. They've never killed off any of the Power kids. Just saying.
Yeah.
But if they were going to get rid of a Power kid, let's just talk about who they might get rid of from this issue.
Oh, are we going to get to that fast?
Well, I'm just saying that Katie's on her way for Brat of the Year award, and we thought Jack had a lock-in on that.
Well, Jack was pretty solid. He was really solid. Everybody thought he had it. He was shoe-in, but this dark horse came from the outside, and she's nipping at his heels.
I mean, I'd like to blame it all on Franklin. I think Franklin is a big part of why she's kind of got this crankiness on her. But it was starting beforehand. She was the butt of their joke while they were skating.
She was upset about the skating stuff because they're all skating well, and she's like, I can't keep up, and I'm falling down. Yeah. And they're like, Katie, you suck.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're a baby, and you're not very good. And so, I mean, even when should they go and get a hot dog, the hot dog guy's like, careful with your hot dog, you're looking a little wobbly on your pins. And she's like, I am not.
And then she falls on her doofus.
Yeah, and drops a ketchup-covered hot dog all over her. Yeah, so it really did start. I think she was just upset because she was having trouble.
She was primed.
Yeah, and then, let's introduce a younger, more currently useful character that's coming and giving, it's like just Mr. Plot who's giving all the information.
Well, he comes across, he's a good, across as a good kid. He's got some information. The information pays off. Yes, the Kofi's out there. And then, to endear him to Jack, he's the son of the Fantastic Four. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, he's winning the rest of the Power Kids' hearts and minds at this point.
Oh, really well. Yeah, well, because, again, like you were saying, he was a good kid. He came in with information. He was even keeping his identity secret. He didn't come in going, hey, I'm Franklin Richards. I'm kind of a big deal. Maybe you've heard of everybody that I'm related to.
Maybe you heard of me.
Yeah, maybe you heard of me. Kind of a big deal.
Here's my business card.
Yeah. It's just a card that has 4.5 on it. Yeah, I think you know.
I think you know.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, so it's so he wasn't going in with any intention of trying to endear himself. He was like, honestly, I don't even want to get involved with this because it's going to be scary. And then he's like, I need to get involved enough just to send him on the path.
Right.
And then he's like, okay, I need to just continue on this path with him. And then he was trapped on the path with him. But
yeah, well, that's because he was kidnapped.
You could argue that. He voluntarily left his support structure.
His assigned guardian.
His assigned guardian. And then went on a dangerous laser shooting filled adventure.
I was going to bring this up later, but we just kind of walked right into this. Yeah, let's just talk a little bit about Jarvis here. Jarvis loses a 4-year-old at a playground. Jarvis loses a 4-year-old at a playground. Now, on a normal day, 4-year-old kid goes missing on a playground. Yeah. Oh, dear God, get out all the police, Amber, well, especially today, Amber Alert, blah, 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 blah. No, this ain't no ordinary 4-year-old. Yeah. This is a 4-year-old who's the son of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, basically.
Who's living at the Avengers Mansion.
Yeah, the most famous 4-year-old you will ever probably not get to meet because he doesn't get out a lot.
Jarvis works for the Avengers.
Yeah.
They did say the Avengers and Fantastic Four are both gone. Still, why ain't Nick Fury out on this? I mean, there is a back roster of Avengers, even at this time. Dear God, get West Coast out here. I mean, for God's sakes, man.
Yeah, send Hawkeye out on the deal.
Seriously.
Hawkeye and Tigra and Iron Man.
Call up Daredevil. Call up Power Man and Iron Fist. I mean, Power Man's in the phone book. Okay?
Yeah, he could literally hire some heroes.
Yeah, he could hire some heroes here. Dear God, Jarvis, why has the National Guard not been called out to find Franklin Richards?
Well, he called all of them, and like Nick Fury was all, has Franklin been missing for 24 hours yet?
This is Reed Richards' son.
24 hours, call me back, click.
Or, seriously, Reed Richards, the smartest man in the world.
Actually, here's what would happen. It would be Nick Fury would just be like, you want me to send a life model decoy out for you? We could just cover it all up. You wouldn't even have to do anything. I'll just send an LMD, and he'll have bedtime and brush his own teeth. It'll be great.
Here's my question. Reed Richards, smartest man in the world, why did he never chip Franklin Richards?
Oh, he probably has multiple times and forgotten about it, or never told anybody.
Hey, I do want to bring up somebody else, though. I do want to talk a little bit about somebody else, and I want to talk to you about a guy who's he had a real deep voice and white pearly teeth, and his shoes was always shining, long, slender fingers manicured perfectly. I'm talking about the Jackal.
Been watching West Wing again, haven't you?
Something like that. And I ain't talking about the Ronnie Jordan song. I'm talking about... Yes, I am. I couldn't help it. I mean, come on.
I know, it's a great time.
CJ Craig doing lip sync in the Jackal.
Doing the Jackal.
Mm-hmm. High life. That's a deep cut there. To the Jackal, though. High snark Jackal. Mm-hmm. We got a good villain.
Yeah, he's competent.
He's a competent villain. Mm-hmm. He came prepared.
Yeah.
He came to hunt these kids down. Now, I do have issues with him, like, completely failing on his sneak attack.
Yeah, there was that.
But, you know.
Let's just say that wasn't a stunner, and it was an actual laser, so he was purposefully missing and trying to scare them or trying to herd them in a direction.
Found the kids, spring the trap, come on.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, he's scary looking, he's got a bunch of equipment, he's kind of smart, you know, he was able to find the kids there. I like seeing a competent villain that the kids go up against.
He's nicely arrogant as well.
Yes. He's just arrogant enough.
Yeah, he's great that way where he's all like, oh, these children have mastery of their powers I haven't seen other chameleons use.
Excellent.
Good. A challenge.
A challenge. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very happy about this run. I'm very happy to have him here, and I'm glad that we got some more of the space stuff back.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I like the kids dealing with everyday stuff, but they were the powers were born in space. I like bringing more of the space element back.
Yeah.
It's nice to see it back, and it's nice to have some more of the Snark in here.
It's great to have Snarks back. It is great to also just the again the daily day in day out using their powers while they're skating.
Yes,
fantastic.
Love that.
Yeah, really neat. Showing the fact that these are kids, and it doesn't mean that they're masters of everything. Some of the kids, really good at skating. Katie, not so much. But then again, she's really young, so it makes sense.
But the kids, I mean, they're skating in Central Park, using their powers, having some hot dogs.
Yeah,
just being kids on a summer day. Loving that. Love that. And we finally get Franklin Richards. He's here.
Yeah, there's been some foreshadowing in a couple of different episodes. So,
I mean,
or issues of comics.
Now,
1 and 2 pages things. Yeah.
Now, I will say, like we said, Franklin Richards, he's going to be around for a while. I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat this alive for you. If you're following along, we are going to see Franklin Richards a lot.
I'm fine with that.
He's going to be around. He kind of gets into Power Pack here. I'm going to say that ahead of time. When I read this as a kid, Franklin Richards was not one of my favorites.
Okay.
But the more I've grown up, the more I kind of like his introduction into the group, and I'm kind of curious to see how it goes forward. Just going ahead and kind of seeing some of the issues and kind of reminding myself what they're like, I remember how kind of cool and how much he fits into the daily kind of grind of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Of the kids, and how it's a nice out for the Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let somebody else raise your kids.
Yeah, who's got 4 other kids? What's another one?
Yeah, what's a 5th? They probably, another blonde kid with blue eyes running around.
And
the powers won't notice.
And to everybody's knowledge, 4 normal kids that will keep him out of trouble.
Grounded, having a normal life, realizing what it's like not to be around the super scientists and the Dr. Dooms and the spacefaring, everything. Yeah, it would just be like, go over to Maggie and Jim's place, hang out with your friends, have a sleepover.
Nothing bad will happen.
Yeah. Eat a bunch of cupcakes, watch a scary movie, have fun. Just have a childhood that we can't give you. So this is the perfect out for it.
I'd like to lead into my library card by saying that on the letter page, there's a couple things.
Yep.
First one is, somebody asks, why does Alex say G?
Yeah, the response to that that Carl Potts gives is great. And it was very much because the person writing is like, why does he say G? It's old-fashioned. Why doesn't he say something like wow or great or cool or something like that? Something more current and timely. And Carl Potts' response is fantastic because he goes, Alex is kind of an old soul. He's got an old spirit, so he says G.
Yeah, he's an old soul. An old boring soul.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that. I'm just like, that is a great reason. Why?
It's a great reason.
Like, why does he say that? You know, he probably picked it up from his dad.
Yeah.
When his dad was trying, it's just like,
and he does
can't swear, gotta just say G.
And he does think the world of his dad as well.
Yep.
So the second thing I saw on the letter page was I was guessing way back on issue number 11 with the book that Alex bought with all of his money.
Oh, yeah.
The Underground book.
Yeah.
I was guessing on it. I made an assumption of what I thought the book was.
Oh, you made a good assumption.
And I made a good assumption. I apparently was right because somebody else contributor pointed out that it was Underground by David McCauley.
Yep.
And fantastic, great. It was a great book.
Yeah.
It was something that other people knew exactly what it was at the time, so I kind of felt good about that.
Yeah, you got a little justification in your guesstimation. Yeah, it was great.
There is no real literature in that's been really mentioned as
hot dogs.
You saw some books on the bedstand of Franklin's bed at the Avengers Mansion, but you couldn't see any titles.
No, they were just the shape of books.
I wanted to point out 2 film references instead, and I'll tie this in, because I think it's pretty interesting and I think it's very poignant to the story. Star Wars and E.T. They both were referenced in here, and they both were really part of some of the storytelling aspects of the book. I mean, Franklin was using an X-Wing and a TIE fighter and the Star Wars poster in his room, and he was using those two vehicles to kind of display what the space battle was that he saw. The kids were hidden in the closet like E.T. I think they even mentioned they mentioned, in the movie E.T. they had a bigger closet. So
yeah, it was Julie. She goes, here, hide in the closet. It worked for the kids in E.T. And Jack's response is, they had a bigger closet.
Yeah. There's some similarities because of a lot of things in here. I mean, you have an alien falling down to Earth, like E.T., the kid's hide in the closet, like E.T. Star Wars, you've got the kid who's being left at home while his parents go off and he wants to leave. There's a lot of good allusions and similarities to these two franchises, but not for the reasons that you might think. Of course, they're the pieces that I just talked about the spaceships and aliens and hiding in the closet, but I think there's also something else that's a little more interesting. Both Franklin and Kofi have parent issues. Franklin's parents are always running off and leaving this poor kid. They're always in danger and putting him in danger. The reason we see him at the Avengers now and with Power Pack in the future is that his parents just leave. His parents leave him a lot, and we like to make jokes of that, but Kofi's in a similar story. His father is a diplomat, and there's a vague explanation that Kofi and his father just do not communicate or talk at all. So we've got absent parents or fathers, and that's a strong theme of this story. And it's also a strong theme in both E.T. and Star Wars. Star Wars, Luke wants to adventure, and it is said that he's got too much of his father in him. He's being raised by his aunt and uncle, and he does not have his parents. I mean, in this case, we see Franklin, he's getting foisted off onto the Avengers here and Jarvis, and this constantly happens with Franklin in a lot of the Fantastic Four comics. In E.T., Elliot and his two siblings are being raised by their single mother. In this case, the absent parents makes the children have more independence. In the film, they also use this dynamic to show the fear that these kids have of other adults as well, only trusting in their mother and other kids. You see kind of both these things reflected in how Kofi and Franklin deal with other people as well. Franklin, he's actually probably deals well with a lot of adults because he always sees adults. He probably doesn't see too many kids, but still, there's the idea that here's your peers, here's who you can actually get along with. Plus, it is very, very well known that Steven Spielberg, a lot of his movies really deal with father issues and absent fathers, and he made E.T. kind of as a call out to the divorce that he had to deal with when he was younger of his parents. So there's a lot of really good allusions that are here, and I think it's very telling that Louise Simonson tied in these two movies beyond some of the obvious ones, but she tied this into the tale of two boys who are just missing their families. Yeah, what do you think?
I didn't pick up on that, but that is actually, that was a really good observation, because I was kind of very much the surface observation of, Star Wars is a thing, and everybody likes that, so yeah, posters and toys, okay, great. E.T., yeah, hiding in the closet. So yeah, I was a lot less on the going deep on that, but yeah, I think that's, yeah. Good job. Smarty Rick.
Thank you very much. No, I just think that it's interesting to go another level down and to see, I don't know how much she meant for that to be in there, but it's something I kind of saw as a real good parallel. And I think it's very interesting. I'd be surprised if she didn't do that on purpose.
It might be on purpose, but that's one of the things that we've noticed throughout the 16 issues that we've gone through so far, is that there's a lot of things where they deal with, and you go, okay, that's very surface, and then you start looking at it, you start thinking about it, and you're all, there's more to this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was the intention or not, if they were just kind of like, I got these stories, I'm kicking them out, and then we're just adding the gravitas to it, or if she actually kind of had that in her own mind.
I don't know.
That'd be great to ask her and find out.
Yes, it would be.
You know what else would be great to ask her and find out? How to pronounce people's names.
Yeah.
We need a pronunciation guide for a lot of these, because we're kind of best guessing.
And we're going to say it right here and right now. We are guessing that it's Kofi. It might be coffee.
It might be something else.
It might be something else. But we're going to go ahead and go with Kofi because, well, it sounds a little alien. It's kind of cool. So, yeah. And for those of you that are not seeing the printed word, it's Kofi. Mm-hmm. We're trying our best, folks.
Yep.
Jackal's easy.
Jackal's pretty easy.
You know what else is easy?
Franklin.
Science Corner.
Franklin Corner?
Science Corner.
Science Corner was
Science Corner is easy.
Science Corner is super easy because you just have to introduce it.
I just did. And I still surprised you on it.
Yeah, Science Corner is not as easy for me as you might think. I was having a hard couple of weeks trying to get to the script this week. But we do have some science. In this issue, Kofi says the Jackal ship has a radar cloaking device, so let's talk about how to make yourself invisible to radar. In the modern era, we have a number of methods to do this. One way is to make your aircraft have sharp edges and flat panels called fasteners. facets. An aircraft made with faceted surfaces could have a very low radar signature because the surfaces would radiate almost all of the radar energy away from the receiver. Another way is to have your aircraft covered with a radiation-absorbent material. The way that this works is that it will convert the radar energy into heat. The heat is then transferred to the aircraft and dissipated. Now, I don't think the Jackal ship has either of these, as Snark designs are pretty curvy with pods hanging off them, and their color palette is as far from stealth black as one could imagine, since it is a shiny orange. So my assumption is that his ship has a virtual cloaking device, which uses an artificial intelligence that can sense radar signals and immediately generate the waveforms to effectively jam them using radio frequencies. So, while you can see his ship, it would be effectively invisible to electronic measures. And that is this episode's Science Corner.
The more you know.
Do-do-do-do.
On that note, let us move into the final thought realm of space. Refrigerator gallery moment, my friend. What piece of artwork in this book needs to be on the family refrigerator?
Okay, I have 2 jokes this time.
I have one.
Okay, so I will start with my backup joke, which is on page 11.
Page 11.
It is the top of the page, and I call it Pikachu, I choose you! And it is... It is a picture of Jackal throwing his vacuum bomb.
Yeah. I
just saw that, and I'm like, oh, he's throwing a Pokeball. And I think there was even a part of the script where I was going to push in where it's like, oh, you know what's happening here? Yeah, he's challenging the Elite Four to get to the Pokemon Master. And I never put that in, but that's...
No, I like that one. I got it. I got it.
That's my backup joke one. What's your joke?
My joke one is on page 8. And I think that this is the classic comedy moment because we have this nice panel at the bottom with all 4 kids skating off. Mm-hmm. Well, 3 of them are skating off in like perfect unison. I mean, we are talking synchronized skating.
Yep. And eating.
And eating. Synchronized skating and eating. All 3 of them have the hot dogs in their mouth. They're all like one hand back. They're all, skating forward. The 4th member of this team is falling backwards, hot dog up in the air with a...
Yep. Yeah, she's yiked it up. Her hot dog then rains down ketchup and dog all over her.
Katie falling.
Yep, again, that's like 3 times in this skate fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your other comedy, my friend.
My first place joke is on page 12. It's in the bottom left-hand corner, and I call it, You Forgot Your Skates!
I was trying to find a way to put some kind of joke about this in here, and all it was Jackal's holding up Jack's skates, and I was like, come back here!
And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you lousy kids.
Yeah, it's Jackal down in the bottom of the panel looking up at the flying away Power Kids holding Jack's skates just like, yeah, just angry, and it cracked me up.
Yeah, that one's good too. I like that. My backup selection. I like how we start off with top and backup, and now we have comedy and comedy backup.
Yeah.
I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
I'm starting to see stuff that just makes me laugh.
No, that's
more,
okay. So my backup one is on page 16. Mm-hmm. This almost is a comedy in of itself, but I love this picture. This is as Franklin and Kofi are being fed, and Franklin's trying to say, no, we can't go to the Statue of Liberty. I just dreamed. And from over his shoulder is Katie, just coming like land shark over his shoulder and eating this cupcake that poor Franklin's holding, and there's a big chomp. And he screams out, my cupcake.
Did you name this one My Cupcake?
No, I named it Chomp.
It is a great image.
It's a great image.
There is a ton of amazing art in this one.
Yeah.
There is a lot of really good art.
I know from kind of our conversations and kind of seeing what's coming up soon is we are narrowing in on June Brigman's last issue with doing Power Pack. And I think about this point in time, especially from our conversation with her, she was running out of steam. That she had never done a monthly feature before. She was really struggling. So Bob Wycheck helped her on some of the art on this. I don't know where one starts and one stops. I know there's some lines that are a little bit different from what she does, but it works together in a really nice way.
Yeah,
I just like how they all work together. All their drawing works together, and I think there's some good stuff in here.
There is, and it dates the comic because you get the scaffolding around the Statue of Liberty, which we had talked about in the previous episode. And hey, there's the Twin Towers, looking at them right there. So yeah.
What's your backup one?
My backup is on page 15, and I call it Spotlight.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
and that is it's center right, and it is Kofi and Franklin in the closet, and it's dark in there, but the kids had just opened it up, and so they got a flashlight shining on them. So you're looking, it is black and white and yellow coloration, and it just looks fantastic because it's just a spotlight shining on them, and they're kind of like covering up their eyes, and it's all the play of
shadow,
light.
yeah.
It's all the play of light and shadow. It's fantastic.
I kind of like the follow-up picture where like you see it from the other side, and like they're looking in, and Franklin's got his shirt open, and the flashlight beam is just lighting up the 4.5 on his chest, and that's when it's like, you're Franklin Richards.
Yeah, you're not Franklin or Frankie or Frank. You're Franklin.
So let's go on the top one, and I don't know. I think we may have different ones for the best ones. We will see.
I'm going to say that we're going to have a different.
Okay. I'm going to go page 17.
17, got to find it.
And I'm kind of stealing from what we did before during the baseball one. It's not one panel, but it's a series of panels.
I know what you're doing.
Because I love these panels. It's the 3 panels where you have Franklin and Katie sitting next to each other, and it starts off with her pinching him in the butt, followed by him kicking his feet, and then the bottom one with her fist raised.
Yeah, she's...
That series of 4 panels, the top 3, and then the last panel, and there's a look on Franklin's face like,
yeah,
I done a good thing.
Yeah, when he gets pinched, he has that like but then he's all okay. And then that third panel is kind of like I'm getting away with it, and the fourth
he's taking in what Alex told him of hit her back.
Yeah, and that's great because he's just like he's happy with himself too.
Well, and I don't condone kids hitting each other, but let me tell you, there are times when you got to do something to stop the bully from whatever they're doing. Right now, Katie is being a bully, and Franklin is just giving back as good as he gets.
Oh yeah, he's doing great.
And it's just the kick. It's like, okay, you do that, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, it's
where's
also
it going to end?
It's a super kid thing to do. You know, it's the whole he's touching me, no, I'm not. You know, it's all of that. In fact, even later on, they're like, she shoved me, no, I didn't. He pulled my hair, no, he didn't. You know, kind of thing. And it's like, so it is a super kid thing. So it's great just to see them where they're like they're in a very serious situation. They are imperiled,
and they are messing with each other.
And they are messing with each other.
What's your top one?
My top one is on page 21. And it is in the bottom right-hand corner, and I call it Tears of Rage. And it's similar to my previous one, which is Spotlight, because this is it is Katie glowing in the dark, so it is just yellow glowing Katie and black background, tears streaming out of her eyes, and she's yelling at Franklin after he was like covering up her mouth and saying, "That's not Friday, you gotta be quiet," and she's just like,
"Leave me alone, you doo-doo head!"
But it's just a great looking picture because it encapsulates that childhood rage where they can just go on a dime and just be like rah and tears and everything. And so I'm just like, first of all, I thought again, lots of great art in this issue, but I just really like that.
No, that's a good one. I like that one too. That's good choice. Good choice. And I think we might see this again.
More crying, angry.
No. I think we're gonna see this panel again.
Oh, spoilers for Rubber and Glue.
Because we're talking Rubber and Glue moment. What is the best or most childish insult? And let's see if any of these ones are going to be duplicated. You started last time. I'll start this time. There's a lot in this
There's
one.
a lot of insults going on.
I do have 2 backups on this.
Oh.
No, I got 3 backups on this one.
Whoa. Okay, well then you need to do...
Yeah, let me...
You just roll with it, baby.
All right, page 9. And we got Katie. This is the first meeting of her and Franklin, and it's already starting off bad.
Yeah.
Because she calls him a...
dumb baby.
That's the start. So, dumb baby.
Yeah, these are probably going to all be Katie lines, aren't they?
No, I got one Julie line in here.
Ooh,
yeah.
I know which one it is.
Yeah, that's on your list?
No.
Okay. My other back one is page 6.
Oh, you might have my first.
I might have your first on this one? All right, well, page 6. So, this is right before Alex does a flip. This is right after Julie catches Katie from falling using her powers, and Jack says,
"Right now, you're just another clumsy little kid on wheels."
And Katie responds,
"My power's better than your stupid cloud power, pig nose."
Pig nose.
That's my number one.
Pig nose.
Pig nose. I just like the fact that she's ragging on his powers, too.
Yes. I like that. Pig nose is good.
Oh, it's great.
That's still not my number one.
That was my number one.
Yeah.
Just because it was burning on Jack, making fun of his cloud, and pig nose.
Do you have a backup one?
I do have a backup one. My backup is on page 12.
Page 12.
And surprisingly, it's a Katie line. It's on the weird art panel that I even noticed when I was a kid because it's lower top, And it's Alex telling Katie, it's like, disintegrate the neuro webbing off of Julie. And she's like, and she says,
"That's what I'm doing, dumb brain."
Yes.
So I love dumb brain, but
yeah, what she's disintegrating is a floating rock because
Yeah.
they didn't draw in the rest of Julie's body,
Yeah.
and so you just see this kind of floating thing. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
little
so
bit of a drop.
it is the neurofiber thing. Looking at it, it kind of has some webbing on it, but yeah, and in fact, there's on the bottom of this rock, there's even kind of a little shoulder curve.
Yeah.
They just kind of forgot the rest of the body.
They forgot the rest of Julie, but we will not forget the rest of
No,
Julie.
we never forget Julie.
Because if we turn hymnals to page 17, we get a Julie line, and it's a Julie line to Katie because
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
There was a lot of ones where I'm like, I really like all of them, but I'm picking these.
but and she's giving her a dressing down, saying, "Stop being such a brat to Franklin. He's being a big boy, while you've been a."
Beastly spoiled brat.
There's a little bit of British in her.
She's been watching a lot of PBS.
Yes.
Masterpiece Theater.
And then going back to your number one panel,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my number one insult, which is
Leave me alone, you doo-doo head.
because there's nothing more childish than calling somebody a
doo-doo head.
Doo-doo
Yeah,
head.
that's pretty great. This one was filled with amazing art and really good burns.
Yes.
Or rubber and glue moments, as we call them.
Yes, there were stars and detentions all around.
Yes, there was.
Now, I am going to flip the script on this one. I am
Okay.
going to do the best kid first because
It won't be a surprise.
the
with
worst kid
tension.
is not going to be a surprise. But let's
Yeah.
talk about who the best kid is first. We're going to flip it up a bit.
Okay.
Who do you have for best?
Julie.
Really?
Yeah, Julie. It was all the kids were pretty great. I can't pick Franklin because we're just doing it of the four kids. Because Franklin was fantastic because he. You're gonna pick Franklin.
I picked
aren't you?
Franklin.
Okay, well then I would have picked Franklin. Except I'm going for the core four.
Okay.
So Franklin, obviously, the good kid is Franklin. But of the core four, it's Julie.
Okay.
And that was because she caught Katie from falling on her skates. She told, when Jack was getting sucked into the vacuum bomb, she's like, "Go solid." And then she's shooting at something at you. "I'll save you." And so she saves him. When they take Kofi back to their place, Jack runs out with the first aid kit, but it's Julie that patches him up.
Okay.
It's just she was very support, but she was also calling Katie on her actions, where it's just like, you are the one at fault here.
Yes.
Stop blaming Franklin. He hasn't done anything wrong. This is you.
Yeah.
So I really like Julie in this, even though again she was very support structure. She was very support network.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and play by the rules.
Okay.
Because I would say Franklin too.
Yeah.
I think Franklin did an amazing job this issue.
Yeah, it was all about Franklin.
But he's not officially part of the team yet.
Correct.
So him and Kofi are not officially part of the team yet. So we will not use them this round. Next issue, we can probably say, okay, they're part of the team.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and go with you on Julie. I completely agree. I think that Jack did a fine job. Probably would be a runner-up.
Jack was Jack.
Yeah, Jack was Jack, but he didn't.
It was also funny with him clouding up in the park when they're skating and Julie yelling at him, and
He's like, no, I'm just kind of.
he's like, I'm covering for you guys.
And he did some cool things with his powers too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the clouding out of his skates and clouding back into his skates.
yeah.
That was cool. I
There
was like,
there was a scene in there that I was like, God, this is really on my top for the good art.
Yeah.
And it was just after he had clouded it out, because it was a great looking panel. But also, if you notice, it's like Julie's got his coat like before it hit the ground, and it shows the movement lines where his skates are rolling towards the front of the panel. It's just like, that's cool.
yeah, I think he did some great stuff.
Yeah.
I think that Alex was
Alex was fine, too.
He was fine. He was just kind of there this time.
He wasn't bad, but
he wasn't bad. There's just nothing really stood out for him. But
Oh well, Kofi actually did compliment him on his wings.
yes, he did.
For flying and gliding, and he said that none of his friends who have gravity powers had thought of doing that.
Yes. So he got a good compliment there. He got a good, but I'm willing to go with Julie as well. I think
Yep.
that Julie did a great job as well. And notice that when we're talking, heaping all this praise on everybody. I mean,
everybody that
we're
was
kind
there.
of even saying
Franklin was great. Kofi was great.
Good. Kofi,
Alex was pretty good.
He's like, I was
Julie
trying to
fantastic.
rescue
Jack had
you
his
guys,
bit.
but I kind of feel bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to rescue you guys, but I'm here to warn you. And oh God, here and giving them a lot of exposition. Kofi did a good job.
Yeah.
Franklin did a good job.
Everybody did a good job.
Not everybody.
Save for one.
How you doing there, Katie?
Hi, Katie.
Here's your sign.
Yeah, you need to come in on Saturdays for the next month and stay after school and clean desks, cuz... you're in detention.
Yeah.
I could understand how she might be having a rough. I mean, we all have rough days. I was having one a little bit earlier where I was just like, I can't take anything right now. I need to be left alone.
Now, I'm going to say this, though. At the same time, as much as she was the worst kid in this issue, I kind of like how they had her. I mean, you can definitely see the fact that she's suffering from I'm the baby of the family. Here's my spot. Here comes an interloper taking my spot.
Yeah.
I completely go with why she's doing this.
Oh, I can get
I'm not gonna give her any pass on it.
No.
But they made her the bad kid in this.
Yeah.
She is filling that role. She's filling that role very well. We can't let it go. She gets the worst of this issue.
Yeah, she did. But again, it's probably she's experiencing what Jack probably experienced, which Julie probably experienced, and probably Alex experienced.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that next generation that comes down the line is always going to be the cuter and younger and got something more special going for them.
Yep. Katie. No G's.
So 0 G's, you can find that in space, which Kofi was in when he traveled here. The G average is still dropping. It is 1.69, which is a race car from 0 to 100 miles per hour in about 4 seconds. That's about that many G's. And then the G total still stands at 27, as it has for the past 3 issues.
The only G we really talked about was somebody asking why Alex says G.
Yeah, and that was his name gets said a lot.
Yes.
But he hasn't been saying his catchphrase.
Top grades. Where do we believe this issue should rank in all of our issues?
I like this issue a lot.
I do too. So once again, we have at number 1, we have Power Pack number 4, Rescue. That's still at the top of the list. And at the bottom, we have Power Pack number 6, the first issue of the Dragon Man story arc, Secrets. That is our ranking. So out of 16 stories that we are talking about right now, where does our number 17 come in at? So, we really like this issue a lot, so we're talking about them dealing with snarks and space, and we've got Power Play, issue number 1, which currently resides at
5th place.
5th place.
Yep.
So, do we feel it's better than Power Play 1?
I honestly think it is just below Power Play. I think it should be in spot 6, so it should replace Fireworks, which was issue number 13, which dealt with baseball, which was a great issue.
Great issue. Really nice issue.
Yeah, but I like this one a little bit better than that, but number 1 still holds a place in my heart.
Yeah, and I was looking there just because that's Rescue and Kidnapped are the higher ones that also deal with the snarks. Yeah, I think I could go with that.
Okay. Do you have a different place you think it should fit, or?
I was just kind of going up the list a bit and seeing kind of readability-wise. And I kind of feel it might be a little bit higher, and I'm willing to kind of say I think that around number 1 is correct because it's very much like number 1 where...
Issue number 1.
Yeah, issue number 1 because it's introducing something. It's introducing something very interesting.
It introduced 2 new Power Pack members.
Yep, 2 new Power Pack members. And
it's introducing the Snark Wars.
Yes, Snark Wars. So there's a lot that's in there. Power Play is good. I actually would argue that it might be above Power Play. I think that this is pretty good, pretty solid issue. I think it's a lot cleaner than Power Play. I mean, first issue, they're still trying to work things out. That's true. But I think that this is cleaner. I think it's got some good storylines in there. I think it's got a lot of good themes. And I think that there's some others. I would argue that's actually above.
Okay. I am willing to concede that.
Okay.
So you want to put it as the new 5th?
I'm going to say we put it as a new 5th.
Okay.
Speaking of Space Goats, we have 4 bottles. We have managed to, even with the absence of G's, we have managed to both get through a bottle each.
Yeah, I'm not into my second. Oh, Rick is as well. Yeah.
Of Space Goat Pale Ale, and I am still enjoying this.
Yeah, I'm liking this. I think both of us right off the bat were like, oh, let's start the episode, and let's try the beer, and then it's like, we need to start reading. Drink.
It definitely has some hop hits. I mean, it's got an IBU of 40.
Yeah.
So I'm still getting the hoppiness in there, but it is not oppressive.
No.
I think it's very tasty.
Yeah, it is. I've been enjoying it quite a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, like you were saying, it is not that standard, just bitter, tarty, kind of flavor that I'm not a big fan of. So this is a decent beer.
Yeah. I'll start the bidding off at, for a pale ale, I would really consider this about a 4?
Yep.
Yeah, 4. I'm going to go 4 on this one.
I'm holding 4 when you're like, for a pale ale. I'm thinking, 4.
4.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
4 of them.
We will say 4.
Yep. Congratulations, Space Goat. Coast to coast.
Bad.
Well, now that we've looked at the beer, let's look at a kid's perspective. And that's where we ask questions to Rick's daughter, Carrie, who used to be 7 and is now 8. And we get her opinion on the book. So, Rick, would you do us the honor of talking to your daughter for a little bit and seeing what she thinks about it? Take it away, guys.
Hi, Carrie. How you doing?
Good.
You have some questions for me.
Yep.
What questions?
So, why is Alex and only Alex, Franklin, and Kofi, why are they the only one? Oh, and the Snark. They're on the rings of the Saturn, of one of those. Yeah, they're on the rings.
I guess that looks like Saturn. Okay.
Why are they the only ones? I mean, shouldn't there be Julie, Katie, Jack?
That is a good question, and it probably has to do with, it's probably the artist's choice. The artist made the choice about who she's going to have on the cover, and she made a decision that she was only going to have Alex and Kofi and Franklin.
Okay. Also, the art's kind of different on the cover.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's new.
What does it make you think of?
Well, Alex's face looks real.
Yeah?
Franklin's face looks more light.
Yeah.
And Kofi,
It looks a little bit darker, right?
yeah.
But it looks more realistic.
Yeah.
Kind of a bit of a watercolor type painting.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool, though, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we liked that one, too. We liked it a lot. So, what about the story itself? What do you think of the story?
I kind of liked it.
Kind of liked it? Is it better or worse than the last one you read?
I think it's kind of worst.
Why do you think it's worse?
Why does Katie have to not like Franklin?
Ah. So, you don't like the story because Katie's acting a little different?
Yeah.
Tell me what you think about how Katie's acting. What is she acting like?
She's acting like she's a baby, whining.
Yeah, she's acting like she's a baby, a little bit like a brat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Why do you think she's acting like that?
Because she used to be the youngest.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Franklin would be in the next comic?
Yes. I will tell you right now that Franklin is going to be in a lot of the rest of the comics. He's going to kind of be a part of Power Pack from here on out.
So, once we're somewhere in the 20, he's still going to be there?
Yeah. Yeah. He'll still be around. Do you not like Franklin?
I don't like how Katie's jealous of him. And I don't like that mean saying that somebody said, it was probably Alex, he said, if Katie kicks you or something like that.
If Katie hits you, hit her back?
Yeah.
You don't like that?
No.
Why not?
You should know, because it obviously says that it's not nice.
Oh, it's not nice. Okay. The reason why is that he doesn't want Franklin to be walked over or walked on by Katie. He doesn't want Katie to bully him around. So he's telling Franklin to not put up with it. That if she pushes him, it's okay for him to push back. Because if he is too passive, if he just lets Katie do that, then she's going to keep on doing it. And they all want her to stop. Because it's really Katie that's not in the right here, is she?
I kind of don't want her to be the youngest now.
Yeah. But here's a question, though. Do you think she can change? Do you think she can get over being jealous of Franklin?
Maybe.
Maybe her and Franklin just need to kind of have a conversation at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, is there any of these issues that will actually have them being friendly to each other?
Possibly. I'm not going to tell you yes or no because I'd like you to experience it one issue at a time so you can see what's going to go on. Mm-hmm. But I like the fact that you're thinking about this and that you want them to be friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that she can work on. I mean, we've seen that the kids change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? So the kids can keep changing each issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like how that you don't... I like that you have a problem with it because of how Katie is acting. Did you like the story, though?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I guess.
You guess?
Yeah.
What do you think of Kofi? Do you like Kofi?
Yeah.
You're pretty much just focused right on Franklin and Katie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you kind of like Franklin?
Kind of.
What do you think about his dream powers that he can see things that can happen in the future?
That's a little bit more cool.
That's kind of cool. Is there anything else that's really interesting in the story? Is there any scenes that you really liked in the book?
The one where they go underwater?
So what did they go down in the water to get?
A radio.
And what was the radio? What are they going to use the radio for?
To contact Friday.
Ah, because they need help, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a new bad guy in town, isn't there?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jackal.
Yeah. Do you remember what he is? He's a...
Hi, Snark.
Yeah. Is he a little more scary than the boogeyman?
No.
No?
I didn't see him much.
Okay, that's fair enough. He wasn't in this one that much.
He doesn't give me nightmares.
He doesn't give you nightmares.
Snarks don't give me nightmares.
Well, that's good.
Nothing except for zombies give me nightmares.
Well, I think I can promise you that there's no zombies, or at least there's no zombies I can think of right now.
Yeah.
Is that everything then, honey?
Yep.
All right. I love you.
Love you too.
Shout out time. We want to do some shout outs to recognize those listeners that take the time to write in or leave us a review.
On Facebook, we have Barbara N., Keith B., Al S., Hoover J., Scott S., Kyle C., Jeff P., Max T., David P., and Todd E.
On Twitter, the MotuCast, Tim Price, our wonderful, wonderful Mephisto.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Thank you again so much. I know we keep saying thank you for your contribution and writing stuff on our webpage and everything, but we really do appreciate it. It is fantastic. It's always cool. It's kind of like, hey, we released one. Better go check out our page and see if Tim said anything or anybody else. And there you are, buddy. So thank you.
Greg A., Nerdy Dad's Podcast, Jeremy Daw, Warlock Thanos Podcast, Osvaldo Oila, and I apologize if I butchered that,
Sure we did.
The Art Classroom, Cool Down Now, Ed Veracci, Slang World Scott, Cho, Comics in the Golden Age, Comic Reflections, and Dr. G.
And on Patreon, we want to give a specific thank you to our patrons. Thank you for helping us keep this show going with your contributions. We just updated our tiers and benefits, so we're going to start highlighting our contributors. Scott S. Thank you very much, Scott.
Scott is such a stupendous super supporter.
Emily W. Thank you very much, Emily.
Energetic empathy earned from Emily.
TJ. Thank you very much, TJ.
TJ. Truly a terrific trombonist.
And like I've said about our Patreon, it is keeping us in beer and bandwidth. That's that's what we're using it for.
You're not going to ask me about the trombonist?
Okay, let's get a backstory. Tell me about TJ's tromboning, whatever it's called.
I've known him for a long time and I know things.
Oh. So I'm going to infer that one time at band camp, he put a trombone to his lips and made music, as one would do in band camp.
He's a trombonist, what can I say? And it's alliterative with his name.
Okay, no, that works out great.
I would also like to do a thank you to the irredeemable Shag. He went to the Comic-Con in Boston 2 months ago or something like that, and he got one of the pictures that June Brigman did. Really large picture of Power Pack, and he got it signed by June Brigman and by Louis Simonson, and he sent it to me, and it is amazing. Irredeemable Shag, you've got a fantastic network, you're a wonderful guy, you're a good friend, and I wish that we didn't live on opposite coasts because I'd love to see you more often, but thank you very much for the wonderful gift.
Jeff and Rick Present is a bi-weekly, self-produced podcast recorded in front of a live studio audience in Portland, Oregon. If you would like to interact with us through the power of the internet, you can do so through Twitter at JeffRickPresent, our Facebook page, Jeff and Rick Present, our email address, jeffandrickpresent, all one word, at gmail.com, or at our website, jeffandrickpresent.wordpress.com.
And if you would like to support our show, we are on Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com, Jeff and Rick Present, all one word.
Please rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher. Tell your friends about us or share your love for us on social media.
And as always, we want to thank the wonderful women in our life. My wife Cindy and our daughter Carrie.
My fiancée Hillary and our daughter Aurora.
We love you. Until next time, costumes off.
Our theme music is 80s Action. Also featured in this episode is Take Me Out to the Ballgame. All music is by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license.
Jarvis, butler to the Avengers, Butler Master, and worst babysitter in the world.
Everybody's a master or something.
I just came up with that.
Rick, master of the podcast. Jeff, burp master.
Aurora, Screen Master.
Master.
Think giant-skinned hybrid lizard grasshopper aliens.
Think giant skinned? Giant green skinned. You just said giant skin. Think giant skinned. They've got like feet of skin. They're like whales.
Hey, sir.
I don't often say this, but you're correct. The foolish fool found a few felonious facts. The Queen Mother has sent her...
The foolish fowl.
Foolish fowl. What did I say?
Fool.
Fool, huh? Foolish fool. The foolest of all fools.
Mm-hmm. Funny.
Bad. Speaking of galactic struggles, we... Bad. Oh, yeah, bad. Speaking of...
Try this. That was bad.
There we go. That's it. That's what's going to win us listeners. Or lose the ones we got.
Sorry.
Or you're welcome. Whichever one. Or thank you. Saved by the tea kettle. Jarvis retreats.
Come on, hold it together, man.
And that his parents would never leave him in any danger. I said danger. Danger. Rick, careful. There's danger ahead. Speaking of costumes, they are lamenting that they can't call up Friday to check out a meteor they saw the night before because the communicators do not work. Still, do not work after Julie's washing.
Not at all.
No, they don't. Katie falls again, but this time... Okay, I'll actually do it. I just like Shracked. Just randomly insert that into conversations.
I do.
Hey, I was thinking about seeing Deadpool. Did you want to Shracked? See it with me sometime?
Maybe. Only if you Shracked. As she is reaching to disintegrate the letter of the water tower. As she reaches...
Sorry.
Hey, you say tomato.
I say kidnapping.
Let's just call the whole thing off.
Kidnapping.
Let's call the whole thing off.